you get on the phone, some questions, maybe some funny ones you've had in the past or not, whatever. But what other common questions do you come by?
I think one of the most common outcomes, it's not really a question, but it's an outcome. It's like, I'm not getting as many sales as I would like, or I'm not getting as much traffic as I would like. I want to hire you to do this one thing. And it's like, okay, let's explore that a little bit. Like, why do you want that one thing? Like, what do you think that one thing is going to do for you? And often as, you start conversing and kind of digging a little bit deeper, you find that, there's a larger problem, or there needs to be an intention to kind of, widen the gap of, here's where I'm at right now with my problem, and, here's where I want to get to with a potential solution. And often it requires more than one thing. And as you're kind of talking to the client, it's like, they feel like they may be getting upselled, but the reality is that oftentimes, if you just kind of like pick away at something, one thing at a time, you'll often get to a point where it won't work, or it won't have the impact that you had hoped for originally. Because when you're selling something, even though it is still a commodity, it's like $500,000 commodity. It requires purposeful intention that often comes in layers, and so you try to explain this in a way where it doesn't feel like we're trying to, gouge them on scope, because ultimately we're really just trying to not burn your money, because we never want to burn the money.
And then, and I would say that's kind of the dark cloud over our industry. Is we often I've worked with another agency or firm, and they did nothing for me, and I spent all this money, and there was no ROI, and that's another common one. But sure. Sorry to cut you off, but that's a huge one.
It is.
And I think a lot of the times I'll get, well, how long is this going to take till I see a return?
Sure. Yeah.
I remember our early days when we started, you start throwing out the 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, and those do apply. Those do apply for data, to get data sets back to our team to see if something is working, or if we need to pivot. We need to dial something in even more because it's working very well. Yes. But I would say, when you're going to engage a marketing company or firm, I say this all the time, and you're probably gonna hear this on every single episode. It has to be part of your DNA, in that you say, my revenue's this much, this much is for marketing, a percentage, and then you cut that marketing percentage as to wherever it goes, but you're committed. So it's not about time. It's about strategy. It's about the solution. So it's years. And sure, you can fire one if it's not a company that's not working for you, but make sure it's still part of your DNA and go hire another one. So asking how long, I typically we'll walk away from business when we get pushed like that, because we obviously know that they don't understand what the idea of marketing. It is about pulling this back, and it's about, and a lot of people don't like that. They actually don't. They want to get this stuff out. They want to be on Instagram today.
Our first service that we provide new clients is kind of pulling them back and trying to, widen their gaze on the opportunity. Not because, again, I know it's easy to just be like, yeah, these folks just want more of my budget, and it's like, like, full transparency, that's not completely untrue, but at the same time, I want more of your budget so that I can do a better job for you, so that I have more opportunity to think of better ideas, bigger ideas that have more longevity. The more budget that you give us, the more opportunities we have to think of our next big idea that can have an impactful resonance with you and whatever you're selling.
100%. The other one that comes up often in this courting phase, discovery phase, is, can I see proof of your work?
Mm-hmm.
Can I see your portfolio? Absolutely, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't think it's the number one thing you should be looking at. But what I can say to you is, a web designer, a web developer, a graphic designer that is good
Mm-hmm.
will be able to do things outside of the portfolio that the client is asking for, or sorry, the prospect is asking for. Because a lot of the times when you create a portfolio, it's in alignment with the brand you're working with.
Yeah.
But does that mean that's all you can do? Absolutely not. What we've found in the past is, we've met with some really cool companies that are, progressive, and they want the latest and greatest. And I remember one meeting with a very predominant brand in Calgary in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about video content, and they didn't want to know what we did locally for everyone else. They wanted to know what Nike was doing.
Right.
And I remember them talk about a commercial that I thought was extremely clever. And it was a Nike commercial. I said, absolutely. And our head video team, the head of our video team, Aiden, was there, and he said, this is what's happening in this.
Mm-hmm.
These are the transitions.
Yep.
He technically talked through it,
Right.
which means he can execute it.
Sure.
In fact, in our own ecosystem with our team, they love to chomp their teeth on
Mm-hmm.
things that are not the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whenever we come with a project and we say, we have a client that wants to do this, like Adidas or whoever it is,
Yeah.
they're saying, are you serious?
Right.
But for real estate, absolutely. Let's get creative here. Let's whiteboard this thing.
Sure.
And let's unpack it and spin it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say there's a few curators out there right now doing video in real estate that are killing it because they're doing it differently than everyone else.
Sure.
So remember, when you ask about, can I see the work you've done? Websites. This is another one. A website is it's specific to the brand.
Yeah.
And what the objective of the website is.
Mm-hmm.
So we've done websites that are extremely complex, that are e-commerce sites that aren't the prettiest, but the objective was lead generation to the site, get someone to buy this product, go to the checkout and
Mm-hmm.
buy it.
Yeah.
Site wasn't pretty, but the way it was laid out made the person do what exactly the client wanted them to do.
Yeah.
Then there's other sites in real estate that are more, if you're a custom builder, it's more about the journey and the expertise and the finishes and all of that. It's a different site.
It is.
Look at companies in the States, look at companies in Europe, whatever, any website that's in, say, real estate that you like, and there's a really good chance that the web dev and the designer can execute that look for you.
Do you want to know what I think about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. We would never let anything go to the client that we weren't happy with and we didn't think that looked nice. But, the logic of how you live your life has to extend to, the vendors and the partners that you work with professionally. You would never go to a doctor and be like, how many people have you saved? How many people have you fixed? How many people, how quickly did you fix them?
Good
and
point.
It's, and I'm not likening us to, the wonders of a doctor, but like the logic extends, because it's like, ultimately, who cares what our work looks like? You should be talking to our clients, our past successes. If someone phoned us and they were like, hey, listen, like I have a project coming up. I've heard a lot of great things about you, your team and your agency, and I want to explore working together. But before I get started, I'd like to talk to some of your past clients to ensure that what they got out of working with you is what I expect to get out of working with you. Yes, that's a great idea. Let me email you some references.
Mm-hmm.
And then if everything sounds good, I'd be happy to book a formal discovery session with you.